Hi, my name is Kaitlin Gress. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am a graduate of Forest Park Junior Senior High School, class of 2008. And I want to take some time to talk about what I've been up to since graduating and also talk a little bit about my career in music. So I'll just start from the beginning about how I got involved in music. In third grade, my mom asked me if I wanted to study piano, and I said, sure. And so I started studying piano and really liked it. And then sixth grade came around and it was time for band tryouts. And my mom asked if I wanted to be in band. And again, I said, sure. They found out that I knew how to play piano and suggested that I take on percussion. So that's how I became a percussionist and ended up studying percussion much longer than I ever would have predicted. So then when I went to Forest Park, of course, I was in the band program. And I will say that the marching band was absolutely my favorite extracurricular during high school. I have so many fond memories of rehearsals and competitions and band camp, and some of my best friendships were made through that program. It's really where I felt most like myself. Also during high school, I was still continuing with the piano lessons. So every once in a while, I had the chance to accompany the chorus or play in the pit for the high school musical. So there were a lot of really wonderful opportunities for Forest Park to help me develop my love for music. I was still interested in a lot of things outside of that. I loved math and science. I loved my German classes, but music is really where I found my people. So after Forest Park, I went on to the University of Evansville. I started off as a physics major, getting a music minor. I had this dream of becoming an expert in the field of acoustics and helping to design concert halls. But I quickly realized that I was spending more time in the music building than I was in the science building, and I took that as a sign of maybe I should switch majors. So after a successful audition, I joined the percussion studio and declared a major in music management. For those of you who might not know, music management is kind of a half performance degree, half business degree. So you still have the expectations of any typical music major of being in ensembles, taking private lessons, putting on recitals, things like that. But then I also had business classes, management, finance, marketing, law, and I had always been interested in business and management, so that felt like the right fit for me, music management, even though I was kind of unsure of what careers that it would lead to. So it turns out music management can lead to a lot of different careers. You can go into music merchandise, you can go into artist management, working with soloists or bands, you can go into music publishing, but what I was really drawn to was arts administration, specifically orchestra administration. So I deliberately pursued internships and part-time jobs to explore that field during college. So while Du Bois County and Forest Park first lit the spark of passion for music, my internships are where my worlds to what classical music really could be really opened up. I spent 2 summers working at the Interlochen Arts Camp in Michigan, where people come from across the globe to study with faculty and with guest artists. And I just saw how big the world of music really was. I also had a really fantastic summer in Washington, D.C., working at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. I was the operations intern for the National Symphony Orchestra, and that was my first taste of what a major symphony orchestra, how they really function. So between my time at the National Symphony and then also my part-time job at the Evansville Philharmonic Orchestra, I really realized that orchestra administration is like what I was really drawn to and what I wanted to pursue. So I started applying for jobs across the country to try to win a position with a major symphony orchestra. Knowing that I wanted to work in that sort of position, it was likely that I was going to have to move away from Du Bois County in southern Indiana. There's some really great regional orchestras in southern Indiana. The Evansville Philharmonic, Owensboro, Louisville, they all have orchestras. But the closest major ones were Cincinnati, St. Louis, Chicago. So like I said, I was applying for entry-level jobs across the country. I started applying in February 2012. I graduated in May 2012 and didn't have a job lined up. So I spent the summer after graduation working rides at Holiday World. But by August, I had an offer from the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. I accepted that offer, packed up, moved on down to Atlanta, Georgia, not knowing a single soul, and started my job in September 2012. I joined the ASO as a program coordinator in the Education and Community Engagement department. I've always worked in that department during my 7.5 years there. And I also won promotions over time and finally became the associate director for the department. I love working in education and community engagement. I really get to give back to the community, and I also am really lucky that I get to work with a lot of young students who are really passionate about music. I worked closely with the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, the Atlanta Symphony Youth Orchestra, working with really young students. I'll also say that I love working for a professional orchestra. I get to spend every single day surrounded by an art form that just means so much to me. So I'm really lucky in that field. So I wanted to say, working with young students, I get to see firsthand the benefits of studying music. And now on the other side, as an adult, I get to reflect a little bit and figure out what I gained by studying music. So if you're watching this, I'm going to assume that you're probably in the music program, or maybe you're considering being a part of the music program. So I just want to share some important life skills that I can probably surmise that you're developing as you're studying music. So I know that you can probably work in a team. I know that you probably have better communication skills than the typical teenager, because I see that in my own students. I know that you can problem solve and improvise on the go. And I will say that's a hugely important skill. I feel like 100% of my adult career is just improvising solutions. So good on you for helping to develop that. I know that you can focus and be dedicated to improving something over time. That's all that practicing is. I know that you can pursue a bigger goal and compromise with your teammates. These are all really important life skills as someone who hires. That's what I'm looking for in colleagues, those life skills. So you're really getting a heads up on developing all of that as a music student. And I will also say that these skills are important even if you're not planning to pursue a career in music. This is what any field is looking for. But for those of you who are interested in studying music, I would just want to share one piece of advice. Take advantage of the opportunities around you. There's probably a lot more in DuBois County and at Forest Park than you realize. So go see the Evansville Philharmonic, or go see a show at the Jasper Culture Arts Center. Maybe participate in the spring musical or try out for that soloing band. Saying yes to opportunities is how you try things on and you figure things out and you find out what you love. In high school, I would have never predicted that I'd end up in Atlanta, Georgia, working for the ASO, but because I said yes to opportunities, I took on new challenges, I figured things out, I asked questions, I found my way through this career path. So with that, I will wrap this up. I want to thank you all for listening. I also want to say a very special thank you to all the teachers that I had at Forest Park. I wouldn't be here without you. And with that, go Rangers. Bye.